the significance of the life we lead. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived, it is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead.
So what impact are you making
exactly
in life?
That is Mzee Madiba.
Yes, the change you make in the world matters a lot.
Absolutely. Good morning. I'm Victor Lo. Welcome to the program. Now, today, let's talk about matters affecting us, starting with education. And of course, politics must be played here, and we have to do it the best way we know how. All right. I didn't know that KCSE starts this week. And then, kids are going to have 10 weeks of holiday.
Imagine, they're going to go back to school in January.
10 weeks.
In January. Can you imagine the whole of October, the remaining bit of October, the whole of November, the whole of December?
10 weeks of holiday. That's a long, long time.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Now, the question is, we normally have a segment here on how to prepare kids for such long holidays, all right?
Yeah.
But the question should be a very simple thing. Parents, guardians, caretakers out there, how are you planning to have that young generation from school for 10 weeks? That is 2.5 months at home. You know, let's just be honest.
Yes.
There are some people who are not used to have their kids at home.
Exactly.
Their own kids.
Yes.
Either because of the financial situation they have, either because of the social situation that they are facing, or because of a reason or two. But let's face it, there are some people who are not comfortable having their kids at home.
That's very true.
That's the honest truth. So now that the situation is here, the government is going to release them back to you for 2.5 months. How are you going to guide them? How are you going to teach them home away from school? Okay? Because that's basically how education starts, at home. What are you going to teach them? Are you going to send them to the village? Are you going to keep them in the city? What are they going to do? Remember, that's a very youthful generation. Vivian?
Yeah.
I remember, Mike, when KCSE would start, we would be washing desks.
Oh, yes.
Sparkling clean.
Yeah.
Yep.
Na sandpaper. I don't know whether that thing that happens now.
I don't know
I don't know if it still exists to date, but that was our norm back then, you know.
Can I mention one teacher, Mr. Oyola? Aye, Mr. Oyola used to cane us, Bane, and Mr. Chieng.
Was any one of them teaching physics?
No, that was in primary school.
Oh, okay.
Primary school, that was KCPE.
Yes.
KCSE.
In high school.
Physics was Mr. Chung.
Yeah.
Mathematics was Mr. Kelo.
Yeah.
And English was Mr. Justus Ojok.
Oh, I see you've decided to shout out all your teachers.
Yes, they made us who we are today.
Yeah.
They made us who we are today. And yeah, so we wish all the candidates all the best.
All the
For
best.
sure, all the very best.
And
you
to parents, please take care of children when they come for holidays. Time for bonding, even as you go about with your daily activities of life. There's a time to really be there for your.
You know,
for your
the sad
child.
part about life and parenthood is you'll never take holiday.
Yeah.
From parenting.
There's no holiday.
There is no holiday.
Yes.
Whether you are 90 and your firstborn is 88 years old,
You're still their parent.
you're still their parent. So you have got no excuse. All right, let's talk about that. And okay, that one aside, let's talk about politics and education. The lecturers are on strike, which means students at the university are all still at home. And let's talk about politics, the united opposition, and so much happening in the political arena. I'll be joined by Dr. Philip Chebunet, who is a lecturer and political communication expert. He's also been here, and Gibson Gesori is an advocate of the High Court, as well as Oscar Mondi, political and governance expert. He's also a university lecturer. So let's have that discussion at exactly 7. So with us, Mariambo.
Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
I was just listening.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, like you said, people are afraid to have their children at home, but I don't know why. I think I always looked forward to my children closing school. And actually what I would do, you know, personally, that is, I would actually take leave. I took leave, I think, like twice a year. So then it was like the April, May holidays. So that is when my first leave would come. Then the other leave would actually be in August, because that's when the schools would close.
Yes.
I guess different parenting styles and all that. But just like we spoke yesterday, Vivian, Mike, and Victor.
But have you had, just before you continue, have you had some people saying that, hawa watoto warudi shule wamenichosha? Have you heard of that statement?
You hear of a statement, watoto wanakula sana.
Yeah.
Of course, you should prepare for that, especially with boys when they're teenagers. You know, they will be eating and all that. But that aside, you know, just having their company and interacting with them and all that. But one thing I think helped us also during our generation is that there was so much to do during the holidays. One is you had to go and visit your grandma or your grandparents at home. So that was one way of just dealing with it. The other way was and most families were like that. For us who were brought up in church, that was the time for activities in church. So that is where you'd actually go, especially on Saturdays. I remember you go in, you clean the church, and then you'll be, you know, taught by the nuns and all that. And very many activities. Remember, children, we also used to have games. We didn't have these phones, and so we interacted with each other. And that's the big problem that we're having right now, because most of these children have been brought up in this technology, you know, with technology and all that. And so that interaction, I don't know, Victor, nobody would tell you to be out by, say, 7 o'clock, but somehow we gathered out there and we played until whatever time. So it's just different times. Parenting still remains the same. Consequences still remain the same.
Those are the days, Marie, those are the days when apple was just fruit.
Yes.
Apple was just, it never meant anything. Apple was just fruit.
Exactly. So I would encourage identification, like we talked yesterday about talent and all that. Get them to do something, you know, get them busy, because they're living in a very, can I say difficult, but then again, interesting generation where they have information at their fingertips and all that. When you were growing up, and if you had to meet somebody, mulipanga kama wiki moja, na mseme tutakutana mahali fulani. And if you're late, my dear, I do not know where you're going to get that person if you don't know where they are.
Post offices were sized already.
The days of lining to kupiga simu kwa telephone book.
You know, na nikisema nitapiga simu saa moja, tafadhali kuwa hapo saa moja.
Make sure, it's that saa moja.
It was a reverse call on a landline.
Exactly.
Who does that?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, things have changed, but what I can say, I'm passionate about the young people and just bringing them up in the right way and all that. So it's just a matter of helping them. There's nothing wrong with technology or even the way they interact, but sometimes just trying to guide them, that's the most important thing. So I don't think there is any generation that is imepitwa, I can say something is wrong. No, it's the parenting that has changed. So children are a clean slate when they come to us. It's us who now, you know, take them
into what they should be.
Thank you so much once again for joining us. This is Good Morning Kenya. Of course, we also have news to bring to you. A lot happening today in as far as our diary is concerned. The President will be presiding over the KDF Day celebrations in Eldoret. That is among the things that we're going to be bringing to you live probably later on in our coverage. And also Siaya County is holding the Siaya Investment and Trade Conference that had kicked off already. Our reporter or my colleague Simon Achola will be there and will be bringing us up to speed with what is happening there in as far as that trade conference is concerned. And of course, it's the Energy Week 2025 underway in Kitui County. And the theme this year is transforming lives through sustainable energy solutions. All that will be coming up later on in our subsequent bulletins, and so you'll stay tuned for more updates. But just about now, let's begin the news this morning where Cabinet Secretary for Health Aden Duale has admitted that there were deaths of children occasioned by the doctor strike in Kiambu County and urged the county government to address the concerns of the striking doctors. And even as Governor Kimani Wamatangi attributes the health crisis to his political detractors, the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union, KMPDU, is threatening to escalate the plight of their members in Kiambu to a nationwide strike. Kamcha Menza reports.
Outside the county government headquarters in Kiambu, peaceful demonstrations by doctors who were joined by activists under Bunge Mashinani and a section of residents in solidarity. Security personnel looked on as the demonstrators laid caskets on the ground, perhaps as a show of the pain of losing babies in the wake of the doctors' strike. They later staged another protest outside Kiambu County Referral Hospital. Here, gates remained closed as other health workers and security personnel too looked on.
Mama mzee kabisa ameng'ang'ania mtoto miaka mingi. Then huyo mtoto anakufa juu hakuna madaktari. Why? Hakuna madaktari. I feel that pain.
Kenya Medical Pharmacist and Dentist Union Secretary General Dav Giatella, who led the demonstrations, accused Governor Kimani Wamatangi of ignoring them at the expense of the members of the public suffering.
It is not normal that a country will be silent when people are dying. Tomorrow we'll be in the court with the Kiambu County. We'll demonstrate why it is them who are on strike.
We would have wanted just the health to separate it, but then now that the governor himself is not responsive, it means that we cannot continue holding him in a position when he cannot make a decision.
KMPDU is also threatening to mobilize its members to go on a nationwide strike, with the notice expected to be issued on 25th of October 2025.
When we were faced with inaction and a very loud silence by the county government of Kiambu, we had no other option other than to resort to the employers of the leaders of Kiambu, and that is the people. So today, our demonstration here today is in unison with the people of Kiambu, who are actually the masterminds of this particular march that we had.
This as the members of the Kiambu County Assembly accused a section of members of parliament from the region of fueling the strike to tarnish the county's image.
Ni mambo ambayo imepangwa tangu jana na wabunge ambao kwa siku ya leo tutawataja majina, lakini walikuwa watatu. Wajue kwamba ile pesa walipeana 1750, tunajua hata hoteli yenye walipeania, tunajua mwenye walituma kupeana hiyo pesa.
Hayo ni maneno ya propaganda. Wale wamama ambao walikuwa katika hilo hospitali yetu ya Thika ni wamama ambao wamejifungua. Na hili ni jambo la kuhuzunisha, because hii maneno ni kitu tunaweza enda na tuhakikishe tuko na records.
But while Governor Kimani Wamatangi continues to hold that the strike is politically instigated, Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale acknowledged the deaths of children registered during the strike.
Leadership is what is required. So if you can solve your leadership, and the maternal mortality rate in that county is very high, we have evidence. So when you are a leader, don't live in denial.
Duale indicated that the ministry has addressed the doctors' concerns and the current impasse can only be resolved by county government.
And the unions are not part of the MOH. You know, I saw a governor saying that we have gone to bed with the union. We have solved our problem with the union. Solve your problem with the union.
The doctors' strike in Kiambu County is in its 138th day, and KMPDU has vowed to launch a signature collection exercise to petition President William Ruto and Parliament to initiate dissolution of the county.
Thank you, Kamcha Menza, for that report. And indeed, some of those are some of the issues that are actually driving up the, can I say, infant or neonatal deaths in the country. Even as the government tries to reduce these deaths, such kind of things are the ones that are actually attributing more to these kinds of, mortality rates in infants and even neonates for that matter. And so hopefully that something will actually happen, because as they say, fahali wawili wakipigana nyasi ndio huumia. So those who are seeking services in these hospitals are the ones who are suffering an amicable solution, and a fast one at that, for that matter. So still keeping up with the health issues, the Ministry of Health has recorded progress against tuberculosis, registering a 41% reduction in TB incidence rate and a 65% drop in TB mortality since 2015, attributing the success to improved diagnostics. Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale emphasized the need for more diagnostic services of TB and lung diseases. In 2024, the country recorded over 96,000 drug-sensitive TB cases, alongside 750 drug-resistant TB cases. Duale spoke while flagging off 80 ultra-portable AI-powered digital X-ray systems and launching integrated lung health guidelines in Nairobi.
Tuberculosis is one of the leading infectious diseases, with an estimated burden of 133,000 new cases and 17,000 mortalities reported annually.
Although the country ranks among the top 30 with high TB and TB-HIV burden globally, and in Africa, Kenya actually ranks 4th.
Nearly 40% of the TB cases go undiagnosed or unreported, underscoring the urgency for innovative diagnostic approaches like this one.
But the threat doesn't end there. Asthma and other related diseases and post-TB complications are silently devastating lives among our community members.
However, in 2024, reported drug-sensitive TB cases dropped to 96,865, while 750 drug-resistant TB cases were documented. This, the ministry says, is a testament to Kenya's progress in fighting TB after achieving a 41% reduction in TB incidences and a 65% drop in TB mortality since 2015.
However, we note from the national data that there has been 41% reduction in TB incidence, as well as 66% drop in TB deaths since 2015.
These gains reflect strategic investment in early detections, evidence-based treatment plans, and HIV-TB integration.
This has surpassed the 2022 World Health Organization NTB target of a 20% reduction of the incidence rate and a 35% reduction in the mortality rate. To boost these gains, the ministry flagged off 80 AI-enabled digital X-ray machines to enhance early detection, diagnosis, and early treatment of TB and lung diseases.
The 80 AI-enabled digital X-ray machines we are flagging off today will bring diagnostic closer to the grassroots, enabling TB detections, even in a very symptomatic cases, and supporting diagnosis of other lung diseases.
To those people who, when you do a diagnosis for TB and they don't have TB, but they have problems with their lungs that you have seen, and and the flow meters that you've just seen, the demonstration, that's what we are bringing to the table to expand the scope for lung disease beyond TB.
The ministry also launched integrated lung disease guidelines, among them prevention and health promotion, early detection and diagnosis, standardized clinical management, continuum of care across levels, integration with existing programs, and health system strengthening. The machines, procured through a partnership with health stakeholders at a cost of over 1 billion shillings, will be disbursed across the 47 counties and ensure TB diagnosis reaches far-flung areas.
Kasichana Marshall reporting that. To matters education now, where Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba has hinted that the ongoing public university workers' strike could end soon following a meeting between the University Academic Staff Union UASU and the Kenya University Staff Union KUSU and the Salaries Remuneration Commission SRC. Now, according to Ogamba, representatives of the two unions met over the weekend to discuss their grievances before the forum with the commission. The university workers downed their tools on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025, demanding. Ogamba spoke in Nandi County, where he graced the swearing-in of the members of the Koitalel University Council in Mosoriot campus.
The council, and we take seriously matters of governance in our institutions, and where institutions such as Koitalel are being run well, we want to encourage them to continue doing that so that they do not land into any sort of financial problems.
And the Ministry of Defense is working with various state agencies to ensure a fair, transparent, and credible and to further distance the KDF from being complicit in previous cases of corruption and fraud in recent recruitment exercises, adding that all reported cases have been investigated and prosecuted in accordance with the law. This will run up to the 25th of October this year.
In a bid to replenish ranks, expand units and integrate specialized capabilities into the KDF ranks and file, the force has launched the 2025 nationwide recruitment exercise. Acknowledging previous challenges of fraud and exploitation that have marred previous recruitment exercises, Defense Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya says investigations have been done and those found in contravention of the law have been prosecuted accordingly.
Notably, past investigations have revealed that most of the reported cases did not involve members of the Kenya Defence Forces, but were perpetrated by individuals passing off as KDF leaders or members. It is unfortunate that innocent civilians have been duped, and most of them, many Kenyans, have lost money to such individuals.
This even as she called on candidates willing to be recruited into the force to show up and present valid documentation at the recruitment centers to stand a chance to serve the country.
In this regard, we are working very closely with other government agencies, namely the National Police Service, the DCI, the ESCC, as well as the NIS, to ensure a fair, transparent, and credible process. This collaborative approach reinforces accountability and ensures the highest standards of integrity.
The Vice Chief of Defense Forces, Lieutenant General John Omenda, said any recruitment done before the official recruitment exercise dates is illegal.
Point to note, this exercise is starting officially today and it will end on 25th of October. Our time frames are very strict and we do this exercise in the fairest manner and in open. And we urge all Kenyans to attend free of charge.
That news making headlines in the counties where residents of Migori County are concerned over the slow pace of voter registration, citing long distances to IBC offices and lack of transport. They are urging the Commission to take registration, that is, closer to the people and intensify civic education, especially for first-time voters. This and other stories in our County News Roundup.
Residents of Migori County have urged the electoral body to take services closer to the people and intensify civic education for first-time voters to enhance voter registration process.
Tuko na aibu kubwa sana tangu IBC watoke kuregister watu kuanzia viongozi wetu MCA hadi gavana. Tunaomba watoke nje wasaidie wananchi, tena walete kitu ambacho inaitwa civic education every ward.
On politics, residents of Kirinyaga have defended Governor Anne Waiguru against political criticism, terming her a development-focused leader.
Tukiangalia kama kutu kumewekwa kapro, tukiangalia kwa masoko inajengwa, tuseme pande ya Kenyaga, tunaona maendeleo ya Waiguru.
In Busia, Presidential Administrative Secretary Arthur Osia and MCA Patrick Omanyala have urged residents to reject corrupt leaders in the 2027 polls, terming graft as a hindrance to development.
All of us are very disappointed. Kuanzia hapa mpaka Nairobi, wale wasomi, wafanyabiashara, wale yote tulishika Paul mkono, tumekasirika sana, na si kwa sababu hajalipa contract, si kwa sababu hajalipa kazi, kwa sababu ameangusha wananchi ya kaunti ya Busia.
Watu wenye wanawekea Osia mtego na wanakula shilingi 5,500 yotuoma na kukuja kujiapisha hapa hivi, na tunasema tusaidie watu wetu.
On health, Kiambu County health experts are urging men to take advantage of the free breast cancer screening being offered at Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital this month, warning that stigma and late diagnosis are costing lives.
One of the things that is being emphasized today in this symposium and will be emphasized across all activities during the month is early screening and diagnosis. Most of our patients die because they come late. They come late and they cannot be able to benefit even from the innovative treatments that are available.
In Kilifi, Environmentalists are urging investors to support beach conservation efforts so as to boost marine life and attract tourists.
Watu wengi wanakuja sana kwa utalii hasa kule kwa dunes. Na tukaamua tuweke hii bahari iwe clean ndio watu wageni wakitoka Nairobi wakitoka kule waje wakute bahari iko sawa. Kwa hivyo tukajitolea na mama tukaamua tu collect hizi takataka hapa baharini.
Finally, a retired General Service Unit officer Moses Epolot has started a 430-kilometer walk from Nairobi to Busia to raise 10 million shillings for the construction of Katakwa Anglican Diocese.
At this point in time, I'm addressing all the people that I've met in my life to join hands with me so that they can do a full completion of this sanctuary.
A look at sports now, where the national football team Harambee Stars set for their final 2025 FIFA World Cup qualifiers to be played today. Now, Stars will be looking forward to finishing the qualifiers on a high despite not booking a spot. The much-anticipated clash against the Elephants will be broadcast live on KBC Channel 1 from 10 p.m. Group leaders Ivory Coast are in fine form after thrashing Seychelles 7-0, while second-place Gabon edged Gambia 4-3 to stay hot on the heels of the leaders before their final match against Burundi.
The intention is to win. We have to go out. We have to create that winning culture. And of course now it's 2 wins back-to-back on the road to 2 clean sheets. So the mindset, the mentality is definitely to go out and do our best.
Players will prepare well. Na kitu tunaongojea ni game ya Tuesday, we get a good result.
Ni pressure kubwa kwa sababu ni jezi na carry weight sana. Kwa tuna represent millions of Kenyans. Kwa hivyo kwangu ni pleasure each time na wear jezi na kila time utaka napeana my best.
Well, we've come to the end of the bulletin this morning. Thank you as always for your time and your company. And of course, Good Morning Kenya still continues. Just to remind you, in as far as news is concerned, what we'll be following up for you, and that is the KDF celebrations in Eldoret to be presided by the President. Will be on later on in our coverage. And Siaya County is also holding the Siaya Investment and Trade Conference that kicked off already yesterday. And Energy Week 2025 underway in Kitui County. All that will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletins, but stay with us because Good Morning Kenya still continues, and Victor Lowe is already in studio, definitely with our guests, just to take you through the rest of the program. My name is Maria, and thank you for watching.
Daddy umekasirisha mama.
Ni mimi mlikuwa mnaongelelea. Endeleeni.
Angalia bwana Andrew amesema
wewe ni daktari.
Hasa ukiulizwa unafanya nini pale utasema nini?
Sio mambo tulimalizana.
Isilobudi ubidi.
Toka kwa nyumba.
Daddy umekasirisha ma.
Ni mimi mlikuwa mnaongelelea? Endeleeni.
Angalia bwana Andrew amesema.
Wewe ni daktari.
Hasa ukiulizwa unafanya nini pale utasema nini?
Sio mambo tulimalizana.
Isilobudi ubidi.
Toka kwa nyumba yangu.
Ni nini shida yao Gen Z? Mimi sitakujua penye pesa itatoka.
Usimfuate mke wangu tafadhali.
Nani yako hapo?
Oh my God.
We are discussing about a dream that is held deeply in every woman's heart, owning a home.
So for me, owning a home is the journey to creating wealth, because then it becomes a source of income.
Our biggest expense, or something that bothers many people, is rent. So when I think about home ownership, it's about peace of mind.
Type out Boma Yangu, a citizen will open up Boma Yangu and ask you, do you want to register or not?
And give you all the information.
And give you all the
needed.
information. In fact, they even have frequently asked questions on their website.
Start small, start now. We have packages from whichever income level that you are in. Don't procrastinate.
It's art, it's culture, it's fun, it's attitude.
As you can see with me, I have this handkerchief. And is it really a handkerchief or is it?
My name is Kevin Kasioki. Please join me each and every Friday at 8 p.m. only on KBC Channel 1.
Very well. Welcome back. It's time for politics, 6 minutes past 7 a.m. Welcome back to the program. My name is Victor Lo. Please talk to us at Victor Lo at KBC Channel 1 and let's engage. Okay. The show is on the road. Right. So in studio, I have Dr. Philip Chebunet. He is a lecturer at the University of Eldoret and also political and communication expert. Daktari, it's been years since we last met in some quarters.
I know.
From 2017, we were meeting for the first time.
I know. But that's why you only call me when there is action. When there's no action.
Good to see you.
You know, there are people you invite them when the machine is not working. But when the machine is working,
yes,
you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Good to see you as well.
Yeah.
Karibu sana. Of course, Oscar Mondi is also a lecturer at the Kenya Methodist University. He is a political and governance expert. Oscar is not new to Jerusalem. Oscar, good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
Good to see you as well.
And happy to see you too.
Asante sana. 26 days of lecturer strike.
Yes.
And you still adamant that no money, no classwork. Oscar?
I think it's a CBA for which year? 2017 CBA. 2021. Which was supposed to have been sorted out long time ago by a different regime, a different cabinet secretary, but it's always continuing and postponing and postponing and postponing this one. I think it should be sorted. And you see again, the heat has come on pay slips, on everybody's pay slip anyway. And a lot of industrial actions, you will see a lot of industrial actions coming towards the end of the year because of the heat of the pay slip. I think this one needs to be sorted because the students who reported to the university, and even after reporting to the university, they are still held up in those hostels. So it's 1 month of people paying for their upkeep, of parents paying for hostels, of everything happening as it is. And you know, when you have a lecturer strike here for 26 days, how many people are doing nothing in the Republic? They're almost going to around probably 7 or something million people, young people, who are doing nothing. This is just energy and labor that is wasted, because we should be able to have students work as they study. There's a work-study program that we should be having.
Yeah.
But now if we have 26 days of lecturer strike and we don't have a system where we have a serious work-study programs in the country, then these 7 million people are doing completely nothing, engaging in alcoholism, engaging on illicit things, and probably destroying lives. So the government should really come up to speed, and the union, so that they agree, so that we end these stalemates.
Dr. There was no white smoke in Machakos. 2 bodies, that is they appointed the committee, did their part, but now the ICUP, I get it right, IPUCCF did not sign the report.
It was expected.
Yeah.
But you know what happens in Parliament. You can refuse to sign a committee report. You can give a dissenting opinion. I was there last week. I passed by there, and even over the weekend, and I discovered that the technical committee that was appointed was to verify the 624 million claim by SRC. I think if there is a body that is becoming a problem in these universities...
What was this claim by SRC?
SRC claimed that the arrears remaining for the dons are just 624 million. But according to the dons, after payment of 8.8 billion, it was now remaining 9.7 billion, so that you have 16 point something billion that is inclusive of pension and what we call automatic annual increments. So I think based on their calculations, I think SRC forgot to add the automatic annual increments and also the pension. What I want to say is that this 2017-2021 CBA was negotiated long time. That is around 2015 there. It was signed. It was registered, even in court. In fact, what the unions are operating on is a court order. There's a court judgment of 15th January 2021 that said you must pay these lecturers. Even there is a letter by the Attorney General of Kenya saying, do not even appeal, but pay this CBA. So, but these boardroom meetings and so forth, where somebody again wants to take negotiation back to verify figures, is a matter of buying time. And I think the people negotiating for government, I think I've slept on the job, because they should know that after a good judgment, you appeal, which they did not do. They did not appeal. So the appeal collapsed. So now it reaches a point that they must pay. But I want to say, as my friend here said, this CBA is a very old one. It's a very old one. In fact, this government of William Ruto has paid their part of the CBA, that is 2021, 2025. That is 2.73 billion. For 2021, 2025, they were supposed to pay in 3 tranches. 2.73 billion, and then another next will be 2.73 billion, and then the final 2.73 billion. So I think that one they did very well. But in the strike notice, there were 3 demands. 1, 2017-2021. 2, 2021-2025, which they paid the 2.73 for the phase 2. They have paid phase 1, now they have paid phase 2. But we also have the third item in the strike notice. Okay. Negotiation of 2025 to 2029. So it is good for government to be negotiating CBAs at the beginning of the cycle, not at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the strike is still on?
The strike is still on, but there is hope. And there was hope. In the last hope that the students actually waited was Machakos. But now if Machakos has collapsed, we still have a long way to go. And as my friend said, students are suffering, the first years especially. And you know, surprisingly, when you are not being taught, there's a lot of eating. Food becomes depleted. Exactly. Money just evaporates. Yeah. I don't know where money disappears.
We'll try and
sleeping.
We'll try and get the union leaders.
Yes.
And get to the bottom of this matter as early as we can, so that we get to listen to them as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's come back and talk about politics and what's starting with the front page of the local dailies. Let me start with the front page of the Daily Nation, to something that I mean many people did not expect. State House scare. Githuka Kimunya was loitering around State House yesterday when he drew an arrow and shot General Service Unit officer, that is Ramadan Matanka, to death. It emerged that the two were known to each other. All right. What was the reason for this deadly fallout between apparent bosom buddies outside Kenya's premier address? That is a question. So the gentleman is under police custody and was actually taken to the hospital for medical attention. How Gachagua party growing influence has stirred Mount Kenya. It's all about power struggle. Now it appears that a fierce political battle is brewing in the region as former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua moves to consolidate the voting bloc under his new party. But again, Oscar, this is not something new. We've been seeing this. I mean, that we can all assume that this is something that was the initial idea to consolidate the Mount Kenya votes.
Yeah, that was the initial idea, but drawn on what policies, drawn on what ideology. Yeah, it's drawn based on emotions, and emotions don't last for a long time. And because the thing is, was it born out of ideological thinking? No, it was born out of impeachment process. When Gachagua was impeached,
was it?
I mean, that is when it all started. When Gachagua
it was not about before 2020 general election.
No. 2022 general election, Gachagua was brought into the ticket to represent the hustler face of the ticket between William Ruto and Gachagua. He was representing the hustler face to that ticket because the rallying call at that particular time was hustler versus dynasties. That was the rallying call. Us versus them. And after the impeachment process, now it was going to consolidate Central Kenya against government, Central Kenya against William Ruto, because of the fallout, because of the impeachment, born out of emotions, not born out of logic, was not going to last for a long time. And that's why you see, on the other side, William Ruto is trying to consolidate also other parts. Yeah. And I mean, the scary thing of not Gachagua now, you see, there's a Jubilee Party trying to consolidate, trying to rebuild under former President Uhuru Kenyatta, Matiang'i, and Jeremiah Kioni. And what are they doing? They are pulling out. And you see, there was also a protest in Murang'a the other day where Governor Kirinyaga, yes, against Governor against Gachagua. Why is this one happening? Because the emotional problem has ended. So it's not emotions anymore, it's logic. And logic, when logic comes in, then people start thinking, right, where are we now with this one? Because you can never push emotions forever.
But then, when emotions, as you may call it, but then the papers say that it's growing, there's a lot of political tension brewing in the mountain because of his influence. Chabunet.
If there is a very confused element in the mountain, it's Rigathi Gachagua. You know what Rigathi Gachagua wanted? He wanted to isolate the communities, for every community to have a political party. I think that's what he wanted. So he is not happy that Matiang'i has not formed a Kisii party. Yeah, he just wanted Kalonzo to have a party that will consolidate Ukambani. Then he consolidates the mountain, and then now the other Maraga and Matiang'i consolidates Kisii, form a Kisii party, and then bring the communities together in a chess game, and then look out the other communities. So what is happening at the mountain, I believe the people of the mountain can hear me very well, and they are going to shift very soon. I'm telling you, there is going to be a mass movement. You cannot trust Gachagua. Even when you listen to Gachagua, I think he must be having a problem mentally, because if you see the comments, the abuses that is abusing is not from a serious man politically. It has just gone to personal attacks, which is not good in politics. So where the opposition will collapse is when this ambition, everybody wants to be the president. You saw even Martha Karua launching his, I think, strategic plan for her party. The other day also Kalonzo was launching. Everybody's launching.
But let's not just put them, because all of them have got democratic right, so to speak, to run for any political seat that they would wish for. The only thing that probably is the ideas that each and every one of them would bring. Basically, that is the difference, because it's a political contest. And so if we put them in one basket and say that they are all not capable, it's Kenyans who will decide.
I think you don't run for president simply because you are over 35 years, according to what the Constitution says. You must be a serious candidate. And for these people to match William Ruto, I think if there's somebody laughing and watching what's happening is William Ruto, because for them to match William Ruto, they need to change their ideology. They need to start giving Kenyans hopes, their plans. They're just saying Kasongo must go, I don't know who must go, but they're not giving us, like, this president is really trying. He's giving people plans on the housing that he has done and many other things that he has done. I think Gachagua and team must now come, give Kenyans an alternative.
Okay.
That's why
you talked of Matiang'i, and the Star reports that Matiang'i's 2027 ethnic factor hiccup in race for top seat. That's on the front page of the Star newspaper. XCS ambitions constrained by brutal political arithmetic. Of course, it has been there. Talk about counties that doctored budget to hide wage bill. That's also there as from the SRC. And finally, on the front page of the Standard newspaper, another experiment. That is just on the front page of the Standard newspaper. Another experiment, and the gentleman there is John Mbadi. This is all about the Nyota Fund that is being fronted by President William Ruto. President William Ruto's newest youth empowerment drive, the 5 billion shillings Nyota Fund, is drawing fire from economists and politicians who say that it mirrors past flops like the Hustler Fund. Critics also say that, and rather argue, that the plan risks adding to Kenya's ballooning debt while also offering meager, unsustainable grants of 50,000 shillings to a few. Finally, analysts also warn that without solid policy reform, Nyota may shine briefly, then fade like its predecessors. That is the Nyota Fund. Of course, there are some figures put there that just a glance of 5 billion shillings from the World Bank. That's according to the government, which will support 100,000 young people across the country. But the amount that the World Bank has agreed to advance the country for the entire program is 13.6 billion shillings, with a total number of youths and young people to be supported, standing at 50,000. I mean, the amount is 50,000 shillings for 100,000 youths in the country. Okay, so that is an empowerment program by the government to support the young people. But gentlemen, let's come back and talk about what's happening in the country. When talk about politics, Oscar, let me ask you this question. What do you really read the political mood and moves that we are currently seeing in the country? Because it seems that since IEBC was formed, and we have got by-elections also coming up, it seems that there is some fire which has been ignited somewhere. I don't know by who, but you can see so many moves in the country. Go ahead.
No, so many moves that I have seen. For example, now, just go back to this Nyota Fund and what analysts are saying, that it might collapse just the same way as its predecessors. We had Kazi kwa Vijana, and we had Hustler Fund, and now Nyota Fund. What has been the problem before? Government should not give out monies. It doesn't work. It will not work. Government should not participate in this particular thing. We have financial institutions. Get this money to the banks, be it private, be it government banks, like where government has shares like Kenya Commercial Bank. Let people have cheaper loans. Let the youth go there and get loans so that we have a revolving fund. But dishing out 50,000 to people whom you don't know what they do, it's gonna get lost. Issue of Hustler Fund, what happened with it? Government was trying to do banking, issuing Hustler Fund as loans. But you're not an institution that is an expert in this. Give the money to the local banks. Make sure that probably this Hustler Fund or Nyota Fund will be taken at 1% on interest or no interest, but let's have collateral and let the institution that manage the money for government, and get youths doing some work, or develop some other issues, like, for example, give the money to Juakali people who are doing their own work. I mean, you will be able to spark growth by people who are already working. But just organizing a system that we have Nyota Fund, and now what is up Nyota Fund? Who did research on how we want to go about this one? And how did we come up? Or just one day wake up and Hustler Fund, now Nyota Fund, now Kazi kwa Vijana. What are those? You get me right? Because what happens is we need to have studies, we need to have research, we need to know how these people, where are they, who are they, what are they doing, how much do they need to sustain a business, for example? Do they have a business plan? Are they already in that business? So that anybody who is not in that business can come in. If you give a welder who has a workshop, 100,000, for example, he will tell you, what will you do with the money? I'll buy a welding machine, I'll buy a grinder, I'll buy this, and pay rent for 2 months. And be able to, after 3 months, start paying back that money. And within that time, I will be able to employ 2 or 3 more people. That's a good plan. But it's just dishing out 50,000 to people whom you don't know what they're doing. Some of them are just hanging around and drinking alcohol.
Okay.
Anyway, to the politics that is, whatever is happening now with IBC. IBC, I told you here, we are trying and hoping that we don't turn this one into another Isaac Hassan, Kivuitu, who is the other guy, Chebukati institution. We thought this was going to happen. This one has lost it.
What do you mean? They have not even started working yet?
No, but they're registering voters. We've waited for registration of voters for 3 years. And they started last week. Who is registering? People are not registering. Why? It's not working. We've been waiting all this time. You've been talking about the Gen Zs, when they come, they should start registering as voters and change the government. They're not registering. It's 2 weeks now. Nothing. Why? It is because IBC have people who don't, I don't know if they don't think or something like this. If you have a target market, who are you targeting? We are targeting the Gen Zs to register. Where are they? They are not traditional people who walks from one place to the other to go and register. They don't do that. I teach them. They don't come to class. They learn virtually. If they want to register for units, they do it through a portal. And they don't come. You teach virtually. These are different crop of people. If you don't register people online, they will not come to register. Just go online and develop a portal of IBC where you can register as a voter online. The JSs will register. But if you expect them to walk from one place to the other to come and no, you will never see them. Never, never. They don't do that. Even CVs, they don't write CVs and print them and drop them to Kenya Broadcasting Corporation if they want work here. No.
They do.
They go to a portal. They go to a portal and apply for jobs for internship in a portal. These are the Gen Zs. If you're targeting those guys to register, please make sure it is virtual, it is online, that is where they are. Otherwise, you will just be sitting there as RO waiting for them to come. They won't come. They don't operate like that. And when we have people, systems must change. We can't have the traditional registration that was done by Chebukati, that was done by somebody Chisoni, that was done, those guys are long dead, Kevuitu. No, it's traditional. These are young people. Let's treat them as they are. So IBC should have known that whom are we, what is the niche market that we are targeting? We are targeting to register 7 million people who are under the age of 22. Because for the last 3 years, since they go to 18, they've not registered. So people under the age of 22 have not registered. You see? And how? Where are they?
Okay.
Yeah, so that we have systems that work. We don't just copy-paste the same thing again. Even the news that we have here, most of the people who are watching us are not watching us from the local television. They are watching on YouTube. They are watching on Facebook. And we have a system here that works.
Oscar,
yes,
you need to take a break.
You take a break.
And you need a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I need a cup of coffee.
Chebunet, I need to serve you coffee. It's tea break. Director, let's go for a break. I'll have to Rudy.
We are discussing about a dream that is held deeply in every woman's heart, owning a home.
So for me, owning a home is the journey to creating wealth, because then it becomes a source of income.
Our biggest expense, or something that bothers many people, is rent. So when I think about home ownership, it's about peace of mind.
Type out Boma Yangu. E-Citizen will open up Boma Yangu and ask you, do you want to register or not?
And give you all the information.
And give you all the
needed.
information. In fact, they even have frequently asked questions on their website.
Start small, start now. We have packages from whichever income level that you are in. Don't procrastinate.
1 point separates the top two.
Michuano ya kufuzu kwa kombe la dunia mwakani 2026 yanafikia tamati mwezi huu wa Oktoba. Je, vijana wa Cote d'Ivoire watawezana na Harambee Stars? Usingoje kuambiwa. Tazama mechi hii live hapa KBC Channel 1 siku ya Jumanne tarehe 14 Oktoba kuanzia saa 4 usiku. Ujue mbivu na mbichi. Pia tutapeperusha matangazo haya kupitia Radio Taifa na stesheni zingine za KBC. Usikose. KBC Channel 1, mwenzio wa 30 michezoni. Want to enjoy free-to-air digital TV with crystal clear quality? Here's how to get started with Signet. Step 1. If you have a smart TV, you're good to go. Next, connect the aerial to your TV. Now, do an auto search on your TV. Just follow the prompts on the screen. And that's it. You're now tuned in to Signet. Sit back and enjoy a wide range of free-to-air digital channels. For technical inquiries, call the Signet hotline on 0770 572 656.
All right, welcome back. It's now time for us. All of us have their cups of coffee. And Wakili Gisori will be joining us shortly. Okay, so Chebunet, very quickly, what is happening at home? Because there's a lot of movements. I've also asked the same question. There's a lot of movement, but with particular focus on the political chess game or the game that we are witnessing in the country. What are you seeing?
I'm not surprised 2 years to the elections in what's happening in Kenya, but I would really want to be positive and applaud the president for what he's doing. This Nyota program is a very good program. In fact, it's better to have something than to have nothing, because the same youth have been saying that the government has left them, but the government seems to be coming up with programs that is going to boost the youth. So, these are very good plans. What I just want to advise the youth, based on what's happening in IBC registration of voters, I was really shocked. I was telling even Oscar here, in one constituency in Bomet, only 16 youth registered as voters. But I know my mother and the others in a place called Toloita in Uasin-Gishu, they are very serious even in the nomination alone. They are very serious. In fact, I even don't know where they hide the IDs and the voters' card. These people have been electing leaders since independence. What I just want to tell the youth, Oscar and my friend here, let them come out of social media. Because they talk big in social media, they really scare you. You'll think it's the end of the world. But they cannot even vie. You see, as an aspirant for MP in 2017, I attempted, and I was position 3. So I know how I tried. So I want them to come out of social media. These people who are in social media until midnight, what are you doing there? They should come out, go and register as voters.
Have you been on TikTok? You can't move out of that thing, just keep moving.
But elections in Kenya is still physical. You have to go and vote. You have to be identified. Yeah, it's not like other countries where even there is legislation. And I think that should come to Kenya, where we have legislation. Anybody who does not register as a voter will not get the services. I think, Oscar, that's where we should go.
Some services.
Yeah, because you find somebody talking big and yet he's not even a voter. And I think they should be denied services. I think going forward, this CDF, I don't know, if you don't vote for that MCA, you have no right to criticize, to talk loud. I think that should come to Kenya. Kenyans and the youth of this country should know that they need to be present where decisions are made. They need to be part of the decision making. And that's going to help the country. So going forward, I think we shall see a lot of activities. We shall see movement. Like you saw Gideon Moi decided to move in good time. I saw the SG of Kanu. In fact, I was replaying that thing. The SG of Kanu was saying, we have suffered for a very long time. And there'll be massive movement, coalitions, and many people will really move.
That is not something new in the Kenyan political arena. Wakili Gisori, welcome.
Thank you, Victor.
Why didn't you overlap?
I didn't want to fall victim like how
you're a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah, I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Somebody said that if you drive on the wrong side of the road, the law will take you on the right side of the law.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
So let's come back to it. Again, based on what they are also saying, a lot of movements are in the country. based on, again, what he said, Gideon Moi, that was quite unprecedented. Nobody saw that coming. The president said that he's had several conversations with the Honorable Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta, and many more to come. But the biggest conversation that we need to address right now is the voter registration exercise. The voter apathy that we are seeing, as at last week we had only around 20,000. I think right now the number has gone plus some few thousands. But somebody will take this to the politicians, the civil society, and the biggest player is the IEBC. Why are we not getting the right numbers? Very well.
Thank you so much, Victor, and I'm sorry for being late. Basically, what I would want to highlight in regards to what you are asking, to start with the IBC.
Yeah.
IBC is pretty unpopular, for starters. Why would I want to say that? We have not seen an IBC which is proactive, an IBC which can be able to make people think that they are in safe hands, an IBC which can be able to motivate the youth or even do enough marketing for itself to be able to actually tell Kenyans that you need, and the reason, you need to tell Kenyans the reason as to why. My good friend Oscar is saying that TikTok is a very good thing and you can't get out of it once you get in. That is actually very true for the youth. So we need IBC to craft messages to be able to reach these people at their point of comfort. That is at TikTok, that is at Facebook, that is on X and all these platforms. Other than that, in the mainstream media, we need to see the IBC also going all out, putting adverts in the newspapers, going through TV stations like here to come and actually market where people need to vote. There's nothing which comes easy. Even if you want to please a girl, you need to make several trips to a place, to a village. You don't expect that you say hi to her in one ceremony and then she should come to you. She won't. So the Kenyan voter is like that beautiful girl who needs to be looked for. So IBC needs to make that proactive move and be able to look for this particular Kenyan wherever they are and be able to convince them that it's very important to vote. The other thing is the aspect of, which leads to apathy, is the aspect of why should we do that? This government has not done so much for us. Or the aspect of people feeling like, is there need even to vote? Because it will just be rigged. So that in itself makes people feel like there is really no sense. And then there's the aspect of there's still time. Kenyans are always the last minute people where you'll find people, if they say that the deadline is next week on Friday, people will start registering from Wednesday. So there is that particular issue of timeline. There is that particular issue of election is 3 years away. Why should I leave whatever it is that I'm doing? I can't leave my business to go and start registering. So that is, and then the politicians themselves who need to be elected have also not come out proactively to start. In the absence of IBC doing the marketing, we have not seen the politicians themselves coming out clear and sending this message. For one, some of them know and likely not to be elected. Secondly, some of them also feel like there is still enough time. Others also want to learn the game and see who is running against me. If I know Victor comes from a stronghold which I rather things go quietly so that we start squaring it out in the last 3 months rather than awaken a lion. Because if I start voter registration, Victor will also wake up and start pouring money in terms of voter registration. Then elections is quite expensive in Kenya. The reason I say as much is that Kenyans will not, especially on the politician side, you will not come to the politician, the politician will not come to the ground to convince you to do something while they have not given you anything. So even the MPs are also suffering cash waste. They also don't want to break their banks before the election, which is for an election which is actually 2 years ago. Those are some of the reasons I think, Victor, this morning I'll want to put out there that contribute as to the low numbers or the low turnout in terms of registration at the IEBC.
Okay. Oscar, a question. Basically, the whole idea is for the IEBC to move with speed. The politicians also have a role to play. But Wanjiku, who is the voter, has the biggest role to play. And based on again what you've said, we must go out there and register as voters. But there is a motivating factor. We all know how Kenyans get motivated. If you know, you know.
Kitu kidogo.
I didn't finish my statement. I just asked. You finished my statement. Go ahead.
Yeah, but still, you see, the crop of leaders we have are the same leaders that we've had for a long time. They don't inspire. There are no new ideas that are coming into being. Bringing Gideon Moi, another Moi, or bringing Uhuru Kenyatta, another Kenyatta, or Raila Odinga, another Odinga. So, as the more we change, the more things remain the same. That is a bit of recycling of leaders, which might not inspire. That is number one. Number two, the question of Gideon Moi. I think for me, I support the president over this one. Because they've been the privileged, the colonizer who came to Kenya at the beginning of the century, did his things and isolated our people and imposed an education that only made us, me and you, speak in English. Because the colonizer took away everything. The spirituality, the material things took away and governed us and oppressed the people and handed power to not Kenyans. He used these things that you see when we were when we had those tribal parties at independence. It was a Gikuyu Association, was Luo Kavirondo, there was this in Maendeleo ya Mijikenda. What was the intention of the oppressor? Well, the intention of the oppressor to divide and rule, and managed to do that. So by the time he hands over power to one of these cliques, probably mostly from central Kenya, who've had the power for the last 36 years. 24 years, Moi, 36 years of leaders from central Kenya. And this type of thing has skewed distribution of resources in the country. And now there are people who feel privileged. And you see somebody called Karl Marx says, privilege blinds reality. When you're privileged, you are not anything close to reality. The reality is that Kenya should be developed and growth should happen in Kenya. We don't need systems that will skew distribution of resources to only particular regions. And I think it might sound awkward, but William Ruto is really doing it. He's isolating people who've been in power, who've skewed resources towards particular region. When roads are being done, I will always ask, why will not do dual carriage from Mombasa to Busia? What has always happened? How has it happened that over 60 years we've never dual carriaged Mombasa to Busia road? But we have a dual carriage, you have a 10 lane road to Thika and a dual carriage to Nyeri. It is skewed. And what William Ruto is trying to do is trying to make sure that I play politics. He's only playing politics. Not really develop. It is purely politics. And his politics is a master of politics. You know, professor of politics, Daniel Arap Moi, and Raila Odinga. These were professors of politics. Then Ruto is the offspring of these two. So he's trying to say that can everybody else get a cake of this one? And now he is saying, I've talked to so and so, talked to so and so. Let me tell you, Victor, for a fact, don't be cheated of anything. And we tried Gen Z here, we're talking about the economy and everything. Siasa ya Kenya, politics in Kenya, we socialize, we mobilize based on our tribes. Even the political parties that we have, they are tribal parties.
Fair enough. Last general election, what was the clarion, the main campaign tool that we had?
A lie of the dynasties versus the hustlers.
Thank you. Are we not seeing the same thing happening right now?
No, at the end of the day, I teach something called terrorism. And when you teach terrorism, what we discover that in terrorism, they are not using, they're only using Islam as a mobilizing factor to commit something that at the end of the day capitalism is in it. It is about capital. So the dynasty and hustler movement, all those things, they were just blinding you. At the end of the day, the mobilizing factor is that the hustler were people from who drive this wheelbarrow. Majority of them are from central Kenya.
Okay, so the question is now when the discussion between Uhuru Kenyatta, the president said he's had that with Honorable Raila Odinga and now Gideon Moi.
Yes.
It was appropriate then.
Appropriate because he is now sorted out Rift Valley.
It was not appropriate then.
It was not appropriate then for him.
But it's appropriate right now.
Yes, but now what he's done, he's managed to bring politics in the Rift Valley to his side, Luo Nyanza his side, and now he's looking for Ukambani. The next target is Kalonzo Musyoka. At the end of the day, isolating who? People who've been in power for 36
Are
years.
these not political dynasties?
I don't know about the dynasties.
Okay. Yes. Shebunet, I'll come back to you, Oscar.
This mass movement, as I've said, Olo, is very good. In fact, the way I'm seeing, Matiang'i may join William Ruto very soon. Because Matiang'i cannot work with Gachagua. As I had given my comments before, this Gachagua is mad that Jubilee Party is not folding. So that only DCP will be incentive.
Allow me to take back the word.
So,
take back the word before you continue.
Yeah, I'm saying he's not happy.
Okay, just take back the word.
Yes. I think he simply wanted DCP to be the dominating.
You've not withdrawn.
Yes, I think I will withdraw that.
Oh, you will. You have?
I have withdrawn.
Very good.
I'm just saying that he simply wanted only one party to dominate the central politics. And going forward, I'm seeing Matiang'i bolting and leaving the united opposition because he may not survive there. The future is in this other side. And going forward, if you see where William Ruto is and where Raila Odinga is, that is where the future is. And you can see Gideon Moi has come. And he's saying that he made a good decision because he's seeing what the government is doing. If you check, Oscar, what's happening in Konsa, I think you should have attended the launch that was there yesterday. Kenya is a progressive country. You can see the development that's happening in the country. I think you should come to Eldoret. Very soon, I'll come. When the houses will be complete. Around Pioneer in Eldoret, around the railways, it will look like New York. I'm telling you. The buildings, the way they are coming up, I believe every person in Eldoret now will own a house. In fact, I'm one of them, which I've really done something. So there is development going on, but there's also politics. But the only problem that we have is maybe these MPs, these ministers, they don't really talk about so much what has happened. The president seems to be prosecuting very well, and you can see what the direction the president is taking the country. And this is going to be a first world country, the way the president has said. And so I want you, Oscar, and the others, let's be positive for this country.
We all are. But the question is, again, Wakili, you know, when you see the movements, what is happening right now, President William Ruto approaching different political leaders in the country, which is okay. It's a political move. They know how they play their politics. But then again, there has to be an opposition to check the government. And somebody saying, okay, Chebunet says that soon Matiang'i will bolt to the other side. And again, Kalonzo Musyoka has also been fronted as very soon joining the other side. What if they don't?
I wouldn't know what the what discussions are going behind the scenes, and I'm not very sure of what Dr. Arie is saying, but time will tell. You see Kenyan politics, they say a day politics in Kenya is very long, and anything is expected. This is not the first time we are seeing this, Victor. This Kenyan, if you study the Kenyan history, the political dynamics, you will actually realize that this has been happening since independence. We had the KADU join KANU, move the floor, and then we didn't have an opposition, save for Shikuku, who remained on the other side. So that happened. Fast forward, we also had Raila, who was a chief opposition leader, joining Moi. Something which was pretty much unexpected. So still, the political game is a game of uncharted waters, and you cannot really say that somebody who is abusing the other one on the microphone on a platform will be still the enemy tomorrow. So that having said that, I would want to say that William Ruto is a very smart politician. He's been able to learn over time and be able to study the Kenyan political terrain, and he knows what is the price tag for every politician, and he can be able to actually deliver it to them at their point of need. And once that time has arrived, you will see anybody wants, he can, and then he's also very wise in negotiation. He can be able to convince people. You remember the discussions just before the last general election, when William Ruto wanted to see, when he was the deputy president, wanted to see the late Moi. It's rumored that the current Moi was the one who was responsible for him not seeing the father. But now, fast forward, here they are. Before the election, you can recognize the kind of rivalry which was there between him and Raila Odinga. And fast forward, Raila Odinga is deep in government. So for politicians, I think it's something they do without consideration. All they look at is their interest. But I would want to put this point out that in any equation or in any deal making, when you look around, and you should always ask yourself, who is the fool here? If you don't see one, just know you are the one before you make that deal. So in this equation of politicians and Kenyans, we should ask who is the fool, because we trust politicians, we trust our political leaders, but at their point of convenience, they always close the floor to just seal the deals for personal gains first, and then the rest will come later. So we end up being played over and over. So as Kenyans, we need to know that this is something which is expected, and it will continue replaying itself. Fast forward to the general election, we will see even more political deal making. You remember the current Labour CS, I think Mutua, was deep in NASA, and then swapped overnight, and now he's CS, enjoying power quietly. So if I did not make that move, he could not be in he could be also running around with the likes of Gashawa right now. So sometimes with politics, you first go with your interest, you secure the bag, if I would want to put it, the political bag, literally, before you could think of anything else.
Oscar, in 1 minute, what are we expecting to see?
Nothing so much, nothing will change. Same politicians, same people, same Wanjiku, who is interest has lost hope in voting, but will vote when given something. When you go for campaigns, they will not stand as normally the people stand in the rallies. When you want to address people from 2027, you will see people queuing in a line for you to address them and give them something small. So nothing. The other day I was in a radio station, and a caller called and said, I'm not going to participate in that vote unless I'm given something.
You?
Somebody was a caller. So Kenyans have lost hope. And the more we are going like this, and it's not only Kenya, it's all from Cape Town to Cairo. African leadership, completely zero. No vision, no nothing, and we're heading nowhere. And we're going round and round and round and round and round and round. What was there yesterday is what we are here today, and we are going round and round. For example, issues we're supposed to deal with, issues of health. issues of youth employment, Africa has a youth bulge. We can't deal with it because we're doing some things like this one that we are doing here. Because we have been transferring people, our young people, to the West to work there, to develop those economies. You cannot talk about Singapore. You want to be Singapore and Malaysia. And how do you want to do it? Do you bring these leaders who were there yesterday to come and help you get to Singapore? Did Singapore do it like that? Singapore didn't do it like that. Singapore did radical things. We have to make radical decisions. For example, what my friend is talking about, these houses in Eldoret. People in Eldoret have houses. And the best way to do affordable housing, I will tell you for a fact, reduce the cost of building materials. Let Victor do a house in Homa Bay for 1 million. Just reduce the cost of sand, cost of nails, cost of mabatis, and let people do their own houses. Because when you do for people houses, that means government is interfering with that industry. Because the person who is selling hardware in Eldoret probably doesn't do even a sale. Oscar. And those houses, people don't want to live in flats. From Nairobi, I live in a flat, then I go to Eldoret, I live in a flat, I go to say I live in another flat. Oscar. I need to live in my home. Thank you.
What I just want to...
Actually, time is up.
Yeah, what I just want to tell Kenyans, before I say that, I just want to tell the government they must resolve the lecturer strike. As a lecturer, I feel proud.
And the doctors.
And the doctors. All these strikes, they have to deal with it. The lecturers, we are now out for 26 days. I think it's time to resolve. And in the next reshuffle, if it will be there, this CS for education, or Gamba, should really be taken to maybe environment, or whichever document, because these negotiations have to come to an end, because we have to teach our students. And let's be positive.
Dr. Philip Chebunet is a lecturer at University of Eldoret. I should be in Eldoret very soon.
Get a house.
I mean, New York.
I need to get it's a wonderful place. It's a wonderful place.
Gibson Bisore, advocate of the High Court, as well as Oscar Mundu, is a lecturer at the Kenya Methodist University, is a political governor as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much. The three wise men. It's a wrap. We're taking a break. And then tunaenda wapi? Sayaka Baba. Stay with us. Okay.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice,
we have to do it twice.
We are discussing about a dream that is held deeply in every woman's heart, owning a home.
So for me, owning a home is the journey to creating wealth, because then it becomes a source of income.
Our biggest expense, or something that bothers many people, is rent. So when I think about home ownership, it's about peace of mind.
Type out Boma Yangu. A citizen will open up Boma Yangu and ask you, do you want to register or not?
And give you all the information.
And give you all the information. In fact, they even have frequently asked questions on their website.
Start small, start now. We have packages from whichever income level that you are in. Don't procrastinate.
The world of governance is vast and can be alien to the ordinary man on the street.
Critical issues are going to be discussed.
From white papers to policy positions, it is easier to get lost in the labyrinth of words.
Inside Government takes you to key global metropolis where critical decisions are made and where policies are crafted.
We interview policymakers and senior government officials to highlight and enumerate government policies and projects. We take a deep dive into the underbelly of complex red tape to demystify policies across the country, across the world. Join me, O'Brien Kimani, on Inside Government, only on KBC Channel 1.
Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke or use our social media handles, Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
All right, you're watching Good Morning Kenya. My name is Mike. We talk about another topic regarding leadership, and we are dealing with how to develop skills for effective leadership. What has leadership always been? You know, leaders like Alexander the Great inspired people. They created that impression, that sense that they were invincible. That is why soldiers followed them. But then again, the question of what has leadership always been? And today, what are the skills needed to attain that effective leadership? Dr. Muridhi Ndegwa is the Executive Director and CEO of Kenya Institute of Management and also the former Managing Director, Kenya Tourism Board. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Mike.
How have you been since last time?
Very well, thank you. Good morning, everyone, and good morning, listeners.
Yes.
It's been quite okay, although it looks like it was just the other day.
Yeah.
Although I think we were last year together about 3 weeks ago, is it?
Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's talk about the aspect of developing effective leadership skills. But the first question I want to pose to you, Daktari, is from your perspective, what has leadership always been about?
You know, in the modern world, Mike, leadership is less about authority, but more about authenticity. And the question is, what do I mean? Leaders today are called upon to inspire people, to be the vision carrier,
yes,
to motivate people,
yes,
to mentor people, to communicate effectively, and also to look at the strategic direction the country or the organization is going,
yes,
and give that hope that this is the direction we want to go to. So much so that they are leading people to achieve some certain objectives or some certain goals. And in the past, it used to be so much of command and control. But now, it's a very different ball game. We are talking about the vision carrier. We are talking about leading with empathy. We are talking about communicating effectively. We are talking about being the person who is strategically looking at where do you want to go, where do you want to be in the next couple of years.
Yes. You've said something very important. It's more of authenticity than authority. That means there's been a mind shift in terms of how people view leadership.
You know, for a very long time, people are thinking that so long as you have a title, you're the leader.
You're the leader.
And you can do anything that is under the moon. But now it's a case of authenticity. Are you preaching wine? Are you preaching water
and drinking wine?
And drinking wine?
Yes.
Are you leading in an empathetic way? Are you also nurturing people so as to take over from you once you leave the stage? And the issue about integrity becomes very crucial.
Yes.
So much so that it's a case of what you preach is what you do. What you drink is what you do.
You walk the talk.
You walk the talk, basically, yes.
So in that aspect now, how can one now become a leader that other people want to follow? Not just a leader because you just want to be a leader, but a leader that people want to follow.
Thank you for that question, Mike. There are several things that one actually can do. And the first thing is that we realize that today, in the modern world today, things are really different from the way they were before. Why do I say this? A couple of years ago, people used to talk about a framework they were calling the VUCAM model, where they would talk about the world is volatile, there's uncertainty, there's complexity, and there's ambiguity. And that was back in the 80s. But post-COVID, there are researchers that have come up with another different model that they call the Bunny model. Let me explain. We're talking about a world that is brittle. So if the world is brittle, people are fragile. The country is fragile. Institutions are fragile. So as a leader, what do you need to do? You need to create that hope. You need to be empathetic. You also need to lead with a consciousness. You also need to lead with integrity, so that in everything that you're doing, people can actually see that, yes, I am able to do whatever I can do, even without the leader being there. Because you are inspiring hope. You are showing people that this is the direction that we want to go to, and people follow you. And there are perfect examples. In fact, the people who were here just a few minutes ago, they were talking so much about that aspect of leadership, especially the aspect of integrity. Let me go to the next letter, which is A, anxiety. Now, we are living in a world that is anxious. Anxious in the sense that things can change suddenly. And if you look at the world over, there are so many countries where there are hotspots. People don't know how things are going to be like tomorrow. Look at even the COVID situation. Nobody would have predicted that COVID situation, isn't it? So as a result of that, you then need to realize that the organization or the country that you're leading, people are anxious, and therefore you need to harness them in a way that they stop being anxious and they become more productive and they become more forward-looking. Then there is N. N looks at non-linear. A lot of times, we used to say, especially in sciences, you mix chemical A and B, the results are always automatic. You'll get this. For example, you mix water with salt. What do you get?
Salty water.
Or you mix, okay, they used to say sodium hydroxide, because you're mixing water and sodium. But the thing is, in the world today, you cannot say that if I do A and somebody else does B, the results will be C. It is not automatic. It is it is non-linear, basically, in the sense that things are fragile. You cannot simply expect predict the results with complete certainty. So what do? You are therefore looking at several scenarios, and there is data analytics that can help you in looking at different scenarios. AI can help you also in terms of looking at different scenarios, so that you're able then to be a little bit more structured, in the sense that you're saying, if I do this and you do this, then the results are likely to be X, Y, Z. Then the last one is I, incomprehensibility. You simply cannot comprehend what is happening in an organization or even in the world. Why? Because scenarios change by the day. For example, who would have predicted that there was going to be COVID? Even in this country, who would have predicted that we would have had the Gen Z situation that we had a couple of months ago? It was very difficult to predict, isn't it? So as a result of that, because of that incomprehensibility, you are leading an organization, you're leading a country whereby you simply just have to look at so many different scenarios and then put all things together, and then you're able to move forward.
So that means it is an evolving kind of situation.
It is an evolving situation, yes.
Now, in that aspect, building and strengthening of leadership skills, what do you think are the most effective ways of achieving that? Ways to develop perfect leadership skills, if I may put it like that?
I wouldn't say that there's any perfect leadership skills, but general, because situations evolve and people are different. Leading an organization, leading a county, leading a country, leading the world may be slightly different. But the fact of the matter is that there are several things that you can say have congruence in terms of giving you better results.
Yes.
For example, the first and foremost thing is that as a leader, you need to evaluate yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses.
Yes.
Every one of us has got strengths. Every one of us has got weaknesses. And every one of us has got triggers.
Yes.
For example, there's some people you touch and they spark.
Yes.
So once you know all those aspects, then you know if I'm given a position of leadership, at least I've done a self-awareness, so I'm aware of my strengths, I'm aware of my weaknesses, and I'm aware of my triggers. And so therefore, you're able to lead people in a way that you know you are areas that you need to improve on, and you also are able then to tell them that this is what you need to do. So basically what we're talking about is the aspect of first and foremost self-awareness. The other one is that the leader is a mentor and a coach. When you're leading people, they have to have confidence in you, that you have the technical capability. You're also empathetic enough in the sense that you feel them.
Yes.
They're not machines. They're not robots. They are human beings. You feel them, and they know that even if I make a mistake, I will not be crucified for making the mistake, but the leader will nurture me in a way to say, yes, you've made the mistake, but supposing we do things this way. Number three, you also need to look at effective communication. Now, as a communicator, we talk about not just in fact, they say leadership is about 90% communication.
Yes.
Why? Because you have to communicate the vision of the organization. You have to communicate the vision of the country. And I recall, for example, like this country, when the late President Kibaki came on board, we talked about Vision 2030, and it was all over. Everybody was talking about Vision 2030, Vision 2030. Singapore also have had their own vision. And Vision 2050, I can't remember what it was, but their vision was very clear in terms of what they would do. Now, when you communicate, everybody knows that I am supposed to be reaching that goal. I recall a case study we were looking at when the Americans wanted to go to the moon. And they said, by the turn of the decade, we need to land a man or a person in the moon. After the Russians had gone ahead. And I remember a case study where the CEO of an organization came and asked, a sweeper, what are you doing? And she said, I'm contributing to landing the man in the person on the moon by the turn of the decade. Now that means the vision has been communicated. Everybody from the top to the bottom in the organization knows exactly what they need to do and how they need to achieve it. The other thing is being empathetic. So much so that, as I said, even if somebody makes a mistake, or if somebody is not quite up to, you are able to feel them, and the person feels, yes, I can trust this person, I can trust my leader, irrespective of the circumstances. The other one is agility and adaptability. As I said, the organizations we're leading today, the world that we're in today, the countries that we're leading today, they are living in a very volatile situation, the so-called bunny situation. And that means because of the major technological achievements that have come through, you have to be prepared to be agile, meaning you're able to respond very quickly to changes that come, and that's why we talk about agility and adaptability. The other one is integrity. Very crucial in the sense that you cannot be telling people, do this, and then Mike, the following day, you are seeing
doing something different.
Else. Or you're telling the people, we'll do this, and they can see right through you that whatever you're saying is a lie, it's a hoax. The minute people lose confidence in you as a leader because of lack of trust and lack of integrity, you've lost it. So those are some of the things that perhaps we can talk about in terms of effective leadership. I think the other one also that I should talk about is technology. The world is going through a technological exponential breakthroughs. Every now and then you hear about so many things that are coming. And the leader of tomorrow needs also to be savvy from a technological perspective, because otherwise things will just pass you.
Because actually I was coming to that, how leaders can leverage on technology to build stronger connections, team connections and cohesion, because that is very important given that we are living in a world where technology is fast changing.
Absolutely.
Do you think, in a way, in that aspect, social media has changed or reshaped the leadership styles of today?
Certainly, I'd believe, in my view, that it has. The reason being, there's a time when, like I said, in the early years, it was command and control. And the leader was basically had all the information within their power. And the information was not spread out to every person, whether it's in the society, whether it's in the organization. The rest of the people basically didn't have that much information. You recall in the olden days, I think a couple of years ago, when the only broadcaster in this country was KBC.
Yes.
You recall? And you had to switch on the TV from, I think, 6 o'clock until 11.
Yes.
And whatever was broadcast in terms of news, you took it to be the gospel truth, because that was basically the only source of information.
Yes.
But today, there's so many sources of information. You go to ChatGPT, they'll give you so much information about this or that or the other. To the point whereby the leader now has to be not just the source or the peddler of the information, but he or she also has to, again, also balance out what is coming out, what is not coming out. So to answer the question, yes, social media has really transformed things, because things are happening real time, and it's not a question of you'll be told about it tomorrow. It's happening right now, and it's also happening in a way that, unfortunately, some of the information also can be so sensational, so much so that by the time it's coming to the leader, or by the time the leader is taking action, already everybody is aware about it. And I think there's something, perhaps maybe, Mike, I should mention, that you also mentioned, that is also crucial. The leader is also a team builder. You don't achieve results alone, you achieve with a team or through teams.
Yes. Now, you know, we talk about self-awareness, authenticity and everything, but what do you think is this place of emotional intelligence for a leader, especially for emerging leaders of today?
Thank you very much. Initially, we used to talk about intelligence quotient, IQ.
Yes.
That those who have high IQs, they are likely to do better. But we now talk about emotional intelligence, EI, or emotional intelligence quotient. And the whole aspect about emotional intelligence is that, like I said, there is a lot of fragility in the situations, in the country, in organizations, and so on. So as a result of that, the leader needs to have emotional intelligence to understand that the reason why Mike is not performing well today is because things have happened at home, or he's going through a situation, and therefore he cannot be at a perfect peace of mind.
Yes.
But if you lack that emotional intelligence, one, you lose credibility. 2, you lose trust with your people. And 3, you're not able to be adaptable to situations. And yet we're talking about situations are very fragile and very adaptable. So indeed, the thing that a leader also should have is emotional intelligence.
From your perspective, and this regards preparing the next generation for leadership skills, do you think the youth of today are adequately prepared for leadership roles?
Tricky one. But let me say this, Mike.
Yes.
At no one time can one say that I'm fully prepared for leadership. You go through experiences to help you in terms of improving your leadership skills and your leadership qualities. So the youth that we're talking about, even as we were there, we were not prepared. But as a result of being nurtured and mentored and coached, you get, and also gaining experience, you gain leadership skills and you become more and more experienced. So all I would say is that leadership is a journey. You cannot say that you have it all, neither can you say that you are tabula rasa, blank. You are not a blank slate.
Yes.
You cannot say that. You can only say that, yes, as far as my leadership journey is concerned, I've already done maybe 2 ranks, 3 ranks, I'm moving on to higher and higher levels. So for the youth, My encouragement would be, do not lose hope and don't say that you're not a leader.
Yes.
You are a leader. The only thing that you need to do is improve on your leadership skills, and there are so many ways of doing that. You can attend conferences, you can get books to help you, and there are so many books out there. For example, books by John Maxwell, very good in terms of preparing people for leadership. You can also seek a mentor, somebody that you aspire to be. You've seen a very successful CEO, a very successful governor, seek mentorship, a very successful president. Of course, may not be reachable, but you can find a way of understanding why that person did so well. And there are memoirs, there are people who write their memoirs. Barack Obama, for example, there are books that is written about his journey of life.
From your perspective also, how do you think education institutions can prepare young people for future leadership roles?
They certainly have a role to play. I would agree with that, Mike. And I think the key thing is, first and foremost, is to move away from that aspect of rote learning. And I think the current curriculum is trying to do exactly that, the CBC, the competency-based curriculum. The key thing, therefore, is that even in terms of situations that you go through in school, the minute you are prepared to think, to be innovative, to be creative, all these are attributes that help in terms of your leadership aspect.
Yes.
But that's something I should have talked about earlier on. The aspect of innovation and creativity.
Yes.
The other thing also is role modeling. In school, some certain schools I know, they have a very structured system where they appoint prefects.
Yeah.
And the prefect system is such that they identify your leadership qualities from an early age. And the minute you're given that role to become a prefect, of course, you are now role modeling, and it helps you even in terms of developing and building your leadership qualities. You've seen a lot of those kind of leaders coming through even to the university. They become student leaders, and eventually after that they become successful or well-grounded members of parliament. For example, somebody like Honorable Babu Owino.
Yes.
You've seen his track record in terms of being a SONU leader, and then after that now he's an MP. And there are many others we can talk about.
Yeah.
So the school system actually has a role in terms of preparing people for leadership positions. And it's a case of everybody is given an opportunity. But the minute you have been identified as a leader, in that early age, then develop and nurture your skills.
In terms of managing criticism and conflict, that is a very important aspect. And from, what do you think? How can leaders handle this aspect of criticism and conflict constructively and emotionally, in an emotionally intelligent way?
Thank you, Mike. In every organization, in every situation, every country, there will always be conflicts. And the issue is, how then do you handle the conflict? Because you want to enhance the teamwork so that you can develop, so that you can build more performance based on the teams. Because everybody has a role to play in terms of the overall. And we always say the weakest person is, the weakest link in an organization, in a country, actually is the measure of the overall output.
Yes.
So if a conflict comes in, one thing that as a leader you're supposed to do is step aside. Don't put yourself in a mix in the sense that you are identifying already with A or with B.
Yes.
Step aside. Listen to both cases. Listen to A, listen to B. Analyze the situation. And I would say also pray about it. And you get that inspiration that tells you, that gives you that confidence to do the Solomonic judgment. Oftentimes that can be done. Other times it may not be Solomonic judgment. It may be a question of reducing the conflict and ensuring that people also are living harmoniously, because we are not all equal. And there is no single time that we'll all be channeled in one direction. In fact, we talk about embracing diversity. So we also have to embrace that diversity, but the way we handle the conflict, the way we handle the situation actually determines the end result. And the minute we embrace it in a positive way, knowing very well that people cannot be exactly the same. There will always be conflicts, there will always be differences. Even Moses, when he was leading people in the wilderness, you remember there were those who were grumbling.
Yes.
There are those who are saying, oh, how can we keep eating manna through and through? We'd rather go back to Egypt and eat the different food that there was. So people will always have that kind of perspective. But the fact of the matter is, it's a question of how you handle it, and it's also a question of how you embrace it.
Leadership in business, leadership in politics, leadership in organizations. Do you think leaders today lead by example?
Thank you, Mike. It's a subjective question, as I would say.
Yes.
There are certainly some good examples of people who lead by example, either in the business world, in the political world, or even in organizations. But there is also a huge number of people who do not lead by example.
Yes.
So it's a balanced kind of situation. Yes, there are some who basically you can point out and say, that one, I think I can trust him. That one, I think he is doing or she is doing the right things. But obviously, there are many others. They're preaching, they're preaching water, and behind the scenes, they're doing all manner of things.
Let's circle back to the aspect of leadership and communication, because communication is very important. What does effective communication for a leader depend on? How does it look like?
Thank you, Mike. Now, we said communication actually plays almost a very significant role in terms of effective leadership. And we said sometimes we even say 90% of the leader, what the leader does is communication. Why? Because you cannot keep the ideas in your mind and expect that the organization, the business, and the country is going to move forward. But when it comes to communication, obviously, there are good ways of doing communication. One of them is being an active listener. As we are talking with you, if my eye contact is with you and I'm listening actively to you, I can see this. I can nudge you by giving you some non-verbal signs.
Yes.
And I can actually get a bit more from you by showing you that I'm actually listening to you. This is basically what you're talking about in terms of active listening. Again, also as a leader, you need to listen more as opposed to talk all the time. Because you become a storyteller. And you know, there's so many storytellers out there.
Yes.
Oh, Mike, you should have done this, that. I mean, the reason why you have been given your brains to do what you're supposed to do is because you have brains. And so I should trust you by listening more to you and also not all the time doing the talking, but also listening to the people. The third aspect is what they call the non-verbal communication. When you do something good, as a leader, a simple tap or pat on the back to the person you're working with, or even encouraging the person and saying, oh, that was really good. It gives that motivation. It encourages the person to even do better next time. And then fourthly, there's also the aspect of preaching water and drinking water. No. In this case, it's preaching water and drinking water in the sense that your people know that even if I make a mistake, and I communicate to my leader that I've made a mistake, they will not bash me, he or she will not bash me, but they will also listen empathetically to me and understand my situation. In other words, you are making it clear that you are part and parcel of the team as opposed to the boss who is doing command and control. And I think also it's very important also that even in terms of communication, people also know that you give them a free hand to do what they are best placed to do. And that also inspires innovation. It also inspires creativity.
That also means that you believe in those you lead to execute the vision.
Absolutely. In fact, the leader should be such that even when you're not there, people will do exactly what you expect them to do. And even when you expire the stage, you have nurtured people to come and do exactly what you did. And there are so many examples you can talk about, especially in the business world.
Yes. Still on that aspect of communication, Daktari, how can leaders ensure that their communication is not, does not intimidate, rather it inspires and actually passes the message as is?
Thank you, Mike. Look at, for example, and I want to give a perfect example, Nelson Mandela, the late President Nelson Mandela of South Africa. When he came from prison after being incarcerated for, is it 27 years?
27 years.
He didn't come back with a rabble rousing that, oh, these guys are bad, they jailed me for 27 years. He came in to build a country. And he said, let's build our country. embracing people and showing people that, yes, they may have done this, they may have done this, but the fact of the matter is that we now need to move forward. Perfect example I remember is a Rugby World Cup,
yes,
1999. Maybe you watched it.
Well.
But the Springboks was seen as the epitome of apartheid.
It was a South African team.
It was South Africa was playing against New Zealand in the finals. Nelson Mandela actually donned a cap and jacket of Springboks, and he went to the stadium, and he actually went to shake hands with all the players, and he said, "We are supporting our boys." And everybody rallied together to support the Springboks. Otherwise, at that point in time, perhaps maybe if he had said these people were part and parcel of apartheid, most likely then the rest of the country would have said, that's their affair, it is not our affair. But you can see somebody who is so intelligent and who is so embracing, bringing people together. And I think this is where leaders are called upon, especially from that perspective raised of communication, to ensure that you are communicating not just verbally, but non-verbally. And also to ensure that even the actions that you're doing, the actions that you take, they are clearly reflecting that aspect of the message that we need to move together and forge ahead as a team, as a business, as an organization, as a county, or even as a country.
So in other words, communication, leadership and communication in a way fosters unity.
Absolutely, yes, it does.
Now, from your perspective also, Daktari, which in the 21st century, for a leader in the 21st century, which skills or aspects do you think are the most crucial for them today?
Tough call, but in my view, I would think integrity plays a very major role. The reason being, you can fool the market,
yes,
but you can't successfully fool the market forever. At one time or another, people will get to know that this guy is fake.
Yes.
And if you've heard about people talking so much about, that's a fake leader.
Yes.
Oh, that's a fake guy.
Yes.
The reason is because they have been able to see through you. Even though you're putting a facade of somebody who is this or that or the other, they're able to see through you. So in my view, I think integrity plays a very, very major role, because the minute people identify you as one person whose integrity is beyond reproach, and they know very well that what I see in Mike, it is what Mike does, they tend to trust you more and to have more confidence in you.
Yes.
So I think that's a very crucial aspect. Of course, there are many others, like being a good communicator, being somebody who is empathetic, emotionally intelligent, and so on and so forth. But I'm thinking integrity, in my view, plays a very major role.
It's top of the list.
I would say so, yes.
And
but of course, there are many others that supplement or complement it.
Yeah, and even matters to do with the being tech savvy.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, looking at everyday life, you know, when you talk about leadership, people think it's about being a leader in a business, being a leader in the political world. But how can ordinary people, because even in the family unit, there's leadership there.
Yes.
How can ordinary people cultivate leadership skills in their daily lives?
Thank you. Thank you for that question, Mike. As I said, every one of us is born a leader. But of course, you have to nurture and improve your skills so that you become a better leader. Not a perfect leader, but a better leader. And so leadership, as I said earlier on, is a continuous journey. You're improving on a gradual basis. You're improving on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So even in a family setup, there are kids that sometimes you may comment and say, you are like so-and-so.
Yes.
Already, you are suppressing their capability by showing them that you can never be this, and you're condemning the person to be this. I think that's one mistake that a lot of people make, and it is important to know that every person has innate capabilities in them that they can become better. So even when you see some weaknesses, you actually don't emphasize so much of the weaknesses, but you also emphasize more about the strengths, while also trying to work on the weaknesses so that the person can improve. The second thing also is that when you start identifying somebody and seeing this person is good in the organization, or this person is good in the business, or this person is good in the leadership position that they're in, you mentor and you coach. Because Rome was not built in one day.
Yes.
And the experience you have gathered over the years should also nurture you, or should also encourage you to pass on that experience to those below you. So that even when you leave, there will be continuity. In fact, oftentimes we say the true mark of a good leader is that even after they expire, or even after they leave, the situation or the organization, the business or the country or the county will still continue doing well. Why? Because you nurtured leaders that can also take over from you. The third thing also, I think also that is also important is that there are some skill sets that you can also improve on. What you talked about in terms of being technologically savvy. The leader of tomorrow will certainly have to be tech savvy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of decisions will be made based on the information that you have. And there are so many tools in AI to help you in terms of data analytics,